Sorry, that was my phone ringing. Anyway, so um, yeah, so where was we? So they said they would take. She said it'd take them a while to get to know me, and I said, and it took a while for them to get to know another person that was new, and now they like her or him or whatever. I forgot. I think it was a girl. I said, but what if the way you're treating me, they were treating me really bad? I said, how do you know I'm gonna stay in the church for a long time if you treat me like this? You know, this is no one. I went to the church on my own back. So I didn't go with my dad. I was a teenager. I didn't go mom, dad. Went on my own. Went to the youth children, the youth Friday Bible studies on my own. You know, my grandma, who I was living with at that time, didn't go to this church. She went to her own church. I didn't have to go to church. It was me. I took it upon myself to go to church and go to this church. So, like I said, anyway, so the bullying started when I believe when I went to the choir. I was going through problems in my school, and I remember, so I wanted to sing the choir. So there was a few things. So this is not going to be in order because I can't remember how it went. This was years ago, like 2012, back when I was doing the Search Bar for Kieran, or when I was like doing season 3 of the Search Bar for Kieran, filming it, and excuse me, before I released it, I didn't release it yet. Yeah, no, this was the Search Bar for Kieran actually, because when it first came out, I remember they was like saying, what the children were saying, what's it about? Is it children in the church were saying, is it a uni project, a college project, or and they was calling me gay because of the wigs and everything, and so yeah, this was the Search Bar for Kieran days, 2012. So I would have been young, and yeah. So what happened is they would laugh at me when I lost my hair because, stress. I had patches in my hair because I didn't even notice because of stress. When I was having problems in my school that was stressing me out, bullying going on, and I went to a pro school, which I'll talk about in my next video. So I was losing my hair, and I didn't notice. And then they laughed at me when I was not well one time when I went to the choir and I farted. Okay, children being children, you would laugh. Okay, yeah, he farted, it stunk, and whatnot. But they was really bullying me about it, like going behind me, doing this, and then running away. And it was just like, I didn't know why they was doing that, and no one told me. No one was nice enough to tell me. And MOR, yes, MOR, right. But and this would be church, good Christians. And the bullying it was just laughing at me, mimicking me, and my when I was singing in the choir, and laughing at me, and and then in Sunday school, no one talking to me, not Sunday Sabbath school, or Friday serve youth lessons or whatever they call it. No one talking to me, and no one wanted to know me, and it was just horrible. There was fights, there was drama, there was, I had a fight with, oi, leave me alone. Sorry, that's my baby scratching my leg. I had a fight with someone in church that almost got me kicked out. But yeah, we made up ish. So we just grew apart. So yeah, we don't need to go into it. But I remember the pastor was relative to the person I was having a beef with, and kicked me out, and everyone was just standing there watching me, and this guy who I fancied, he was laughing and just walking up and down like, ooh, he was gay too, but he didn't want no one to know he was gay, but he was flirting with my friend at that time, and that's why I knew he was gay, and probably that's why I fancied him, because if he was the same as me, then I'd be attracted to you because I feel like we there's hope for us. I'm not gonna bait him out. But yeah, he didn't want me anyway. and it wasn't going to work. And then there was another guy that was attracted to me, but his breath stank. And what happened is he messaged me, love heart emoji, love heart eye emoji, and I said, "You okay?" Then he got scared. But then one time I put on weight, transformed, whatever, and I thought, okay, let me reach out and message, not message him, but like say hi to him and approach him. And he hated me. He just made me feel so like I've done him something. And do you remember me? No, I don't remember you. So angrily. And then for a long time, every time we saw him in the park or whatever, he'll give me evils and make me feel like like I've done him something. Like, you know, like I've done him something. Just because he didn't like me anymore because I put on weight, or and I felt like I had to apologize for putting on weight, you know? Anyway, so there was drama and the pastor kicked me out and then brought me back in because, we made up and stuff like that. So yeah, but that was the first church I got kicked out of when I was younger. And I went to this church called Christ Church. Both churches I've sang with on YouTube, so you can check them out in Mobile, me and Verona. Verona didn't really do anything. She wasn't like, she wasn't, she didn't really do anything. She was just, being a mother. Like, yeah, she didn't do anything. She did, well, I don't have proof, but I believe she did report me for smoking. One picture I posted of me smoking. And then she said if there's a dislike button, and the next minute Julian said to me about smoking and whatnot and confronting me, but I don't think he didn't want to tell me who it was, but it just looked like, yeah, why wouldn't it be you, because you're the one who mentioned it and stuff like that, but that's another story. But yeah, Verona was nice. And the adults was nice, but the children was horrible. Anyway, so I went to this church called Christ Church. This is where I got kicked out. And they didn't want me to sing on the worship team. They kept making excuses. And every church I went to didn't want me to sing on the worship team. Now I sing the worship team at MCC's North London, Bloomsbury Baptist Church. Anyway, finally I got a church where I sing on the worship team, and I'm going to start leading soon. And anyway, so they didn't want me to sing on the worship team, and even Saint Layton didn't want me to sing on the worship team, but we didn't cause any drama, we just left. Because they wanted other people and they didn't want me. Probably jealousy, because I can really sing. Not being bigging myself up, but I can sing. I got a voice on me. And it intimidates some people. That's why lots of people don't want to work with me. They don't want to sing with me. They don't want to... they don't want me to sing with them on the worship team because they feel like I'll outdo everyone, and I will, when you got a good voice, a really good voice, this, it comes with praises and haters. Anyway, so she didn't want to sing with me on the worship team, and I remember the last video I said I was in love. I believe it was the last video I said I was in love. And I came off my medication and then relapsed. So I came off my medication because I was in love and he rejected me. This guy who clearly liked me kept staring at me in church. Like, he would proper stare at me like... He will come up to me and just stand and wait for me to finish my conversation to say hi to. We'll dance together in clubs. What else? He said to me when I met him in his house and he was by himself, what do I think about the... Oh, sorry, this is in the way. What do I think about the Sodom and Gomorrah story in the Bible? Is like, for a straight man, why do you care about the Bible talking about God's wrath for the LGBTQ community? So that was a flag saying that he's battling his sexuality. Anyway, and the fact that he kept staring at me like, a lot of people used to stare at me back in 2019 because I looked good, I was slimmer, my face was slimmer, I didn't have these big, fat, chubby cheeks, and I had the brown hair, and I just looked good. I was slimmer. Wasn't skinny, but I was slim. And I was starting to look really good. And I felt attractive, and I felt to love myself. I really loved, if you could see my pictures in my Instagram, Lemar Anderson official, not Lemar Anderson official one, my first one, Lemar Anderson official. If you scroll up back to the time when I was singing Empire, What Is Love, or Stevie Wonder, For Once in My Life, or Jasmine Sullivan, Bust the Windows, those songs, or Listen by Beyonce, or With You by Mariah Carey, or Sandcastle, that era of me, 2019, that's what I'm talking about. That's when I was really feeling confident in myself and really attractive. And yes, I had a nose job, but it I I wasn't that big. I was losing weight, and they say when you lose weight, you're more attractive. Anyway, back to the story. So the person didn't want me in the Christchurch choir, and will make excuses like, "Oh, you ready on the worship? You ready on the prayer team, or the usher? You can't do both." And other people say, "Yeah, you can. I'm doing both," and then just have me going up and down, like give me the run-ins, and then I can't remember everything she said, like all the excuses. Forgive me, I'm just itching. I can't remember all the excuses that was said, but it was because this was a long time too. I should have done a video then, but anyway. And then so she wanted me to be in a choir, and I was my medication now. I was off my medication now, and I remember we had an argument about an event that she came late to, and she wanted to. And when people tell this story, they don't tell the full story about how she gave me the runaround. They just talk about the event and say, "Oh yeah, he was off his medication, so yeah, he was really angry, and he got angry and pushed her and and was shouting and whatever and carrying on." It's like, no, there was a build up, right? It wasn't just the event that happened. You just know about the event because you was just there at the event. But it was a build up of history. Anyway, so I told you what happened, and then the church turned on me. First they was like, "Oh, they was on my side and said, make sure you're okay, whatever." Then they said, "Oh, I hope you don't come in the next day to church, give us some space." I said, "No, I'm gonna come to church." And then the pastor came to me, and he was like, he needs to see me before I come back to church and whatnot. And then he excluded me. We had a meeting, and it was with the pastor and his bodyguard, whatever you want to call it, and they was just bullying me, like, "Oh, you're not looking at me," because I struggle with my mental health, my condition. I can't give eye contact sometimes. I feel like if I give eye contact to you, then I'm gonna fall in love with you, and I don't want to fall in love with you, so I don't give you eye contact sometimes, and because eye contact is very powerful. Anyway, so he does that. "You're not giving me eye contact. You're not giving me eye contact," and like bullying me in the meeting, and then we was arguing, and then I posted my review on the church, and then they kicked me out and said I was angry and blah, 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 and they excluded me, and then they kicked me out. And I was just like, still meeting with the people in the church, but they were just demonizing me And I was just, yeah, and I was just, you know, I was wanting to cut off the church because in my head, there's life is a movie, and I thought if I'm gonna, life is like a soap, and if I'm gonna leave this show, the Christchurch show, then I'm gonna cut off with everyone, and I regret that because I wish I had some contact with them. So because I'm lonely and bored, I would have had some events to turn up to, but I cussed off everyone, and no one really wants to know me anymore. No one wants to know me anymore. But for one guy who barely wants to know me but come to my event. And um yeah, so um that's a long story short. Yeah, so we got kicked out, and people was like, how could you get kicked out of church? Um well, yeah, that's, you know, you can't get kicked out of church, but I guess you can. Um it took a while for me to find another church that I liked that had events, because this church had loads of events. One thing about them, they was always doing something. They always had a community. There was a big church, so they always had weddings or or home like housewarmings or birthdays or or something going on, parties or uni just part. It was like a uni party, but without going to uni. So they always had something. I loved that about them. Didn't really like the church because the pastor, not pastor, but the preaching was boring. The singing was rubbish. Well, it was alright, but it wasn't like MOR. And yeah, and then I decided to leave. Well, I got kicked out. And then it's been years now. I could go back. But what am I going back for? The guy who stares at me, um, I fell in love with him, but he's probably married now. That's what I heard. Rumor heard he's married now, and he's moved on. And even if I went back for him, you know, he would probably play the same games that he's not interested or whatever, and then stare at me, and then yeah, he just like staring. He was probably scared and like God's wrath, God's wrath, God's wrath. He's not living his truth. And he probably wanted me to be straight too, so we all could go to heaven. And yeah, so long story short, I'm not going back. There's no point me going back. Yes, I think about the guy every day because the love was so strong. You know, being without him made me feel like I couldn't breathe, and you know, I didn't want to go on. It was my first love. Yeah, and it was my second love because I loved someone in my high school, and that it was just my first intense love. Yeah, and yeah, so but it never hit off. So anyway, that's the end of this story now. Like, share, and subscribe, and comment your experience or whatever in churches. And do you like churches? What church you go to? If you want me to visit your church and sing at your church, if you're in the UK, London, yeah, and we'll see if I could come and sing at your church. Yeah, if you could let the pastor know, the worship leader know that you want me to sing, and we could arrange it. I would love to come and sing at your church or your event, your wedding, your birthday, your whatever you've got going on. I would love to come and sing. We could book me, DM me on my Instagram, Lemar Anderson _official1. Alright, bye for now. Love you lots. Bye.